Welcome to Authentic with Brazil 201. I'm your host, Brazil 201, and on today's episode, we're gonna do a full spoiler discussion on Alien Earth, which, by the way, I still think is one of the 10 best shows of the year. And full transparency, by the way, I have award show votes. So obviously, I am voting this as one of the 10 shows of the year. And listen, as I've said many times before, The Pit and Adolescence are my 1 and 2 so far for top shows of 2025. Before we dive into the full Alien Earth discussion, let me just say my One Battle After Another pod is dropping Tuesday or Wednesday because I am going to a award show screening to see it again in 70 millimeter IMAX, the way this movie was totally intended to see. And no spoilers, obviously, but it is one of the best movies of the last decade. Yes, it is better than Oppenheimer. It is on par with The Social Network, I think. And I think it is slightly better. There's no argument. There's no hesitation, by the way. This is a movie everybody needs to see. And it's a shame that it's not a shame, but this movie is so good. It is going to win Best Picture. It's going to win Best Director. It is more now where everybody else falls because it is that good, okay? And I just wanna say, I was the one hyping up Last of Us Episode 3, Season 1 about a month before it came out, saying it is one of the best episodes of television in the last decade, and that was true. I also was hyping up Paradise Episode 7, saying it was the best episode of television of the year, right? And Paradise did come out in January, and I still stand by it as it were entering October, that Episode 7 is the best episode of television of the year so far, right? Obviously, Fallout and Stranger Things have not come out yet. So, and those shows are probably going to end up in the top 10, parallel for, shows of the year. But that's just my, full transparency where we're, about that. So, Tuesday or Wednesday will be one battle after another. Now, on to Alien Earth. Full spoilers. Do not yell at me. Okay. Just so people can kinda understand on the timeline of the Alien, movies, because I know everyone's kinda confused on where everything stands. So, the show is set in 2120, so it's 2 years before the Sigourney Weaver first Alien movie, right? And it's right after Covenant, but it's before Alien. It also is before Alien Romulus, which came out last summer, just so people can kind of understand where everything is. Also, this movie not move God, I know. We're gonna get into the movie episode, which is episode 5, but it shows us more about a lot of the aliens we never ever saw in any of the movies, by the way. Not just the Xenomorphs or the face huggers, but our new favorite main character slash villain, potentially, the eyeball parasite, who apparently rips out people's eyes and takes them over. We have the blood bugs, which are the insect parasites that hollow you out from the inside. And you also have the flower bud creature that's basically like the fly trap that opens up and eats you. We have the flying insect predator that feeds on the androids. And then we have the leech-like parasites that have been lurking in the background. Okay, that's just so people understand where we are with all of our aliens and things to that extent. So, next, Alien Earth isn't just another spin-off. Actually, it's our first spin-off of this. And I understand the Marvelification of all these Disney properties is getting annoying, but this isn't like Star Wars where like all the shows have now basically become shit because what started off as movies on TV have become just really bad TV shows, and now they're going back to the movies. As you know, Mando and Grogu is going to bomb. That shit looked like a Disney Plus show filmed in a movie, and that's just a man in a suit and a doll. And that's all that movie is because Pedro Pascal is probably only in that movie, like, without the mask for 5 minutes top. But we're not gonna get into that nonsense, okay? But everything this show is just feeding directly into the DNA of the Ridley Scott original classic. It takes place before Alien and Alien Romulus. It's a good bridge show between what we know and what's coming, and we haven't really seen actually what has happened on Earth ever in any of the movies. We've always been on these random mining planets and, like, the shitty conditions that are happening everywhere else, but we really never saw how Earth really works in the Alien franchise. This is key. I think it's one of the top 10 shows of the year, hands down. Okay. I don't think it's a top 5. I think it's probably going to be firmly slot in 10. Okay. Then I love our characters. I think Sydney Chandler, who is Friday Night Lights, Kyla Chandler in, was it Hal? No, not Hal Jordan. Yeah, Hal is the Hal Jordan in the Lanterns franchise, his daughter. I can't believe this is like what she is my age, right? And this is one of her first, leading shows. I think first of all, she's beautiful. Obviously, now is I think in my top 10. But I am in it. I like the show outside Timothy Olyphant. It's basically pretty much unknown people. I mean, you wanna say Stanley Chandler's a nepo person, but she had to prove she's good enough to lead a show, which she is. I am invested in Marcy/Wendy, okay? I think she may be one of the best Alien franchise characters since, Ellen Ripley, and she's not written as a superhero, she's written as a survivor. She's vulnerable, flawed, human, and when she fights, you feel it. She has Ripley's DNA, but not in imitation, but in spirit. I think she's the new face of the franchise in what survival in this universe looks like. And I put money down will be obviously the show's going to get renewed. Now the issue is that the show probably takes a while to make. And there's no way this show's not getting renewed because the amount of money they put into actual like the Xenomorphs and all the other aliens, there's no way you're just like saying one and done with this show. Next, we have the cyborgs, the synths, and the androids. Is that this It's fascinating this season isn't it just like humans versus the aliens, it's the whole cyborg synths and the androids versus each other. The show takes what begins with Ash, Bishop, and David and blows it wide open and asks what does it mean to be alive? Who is truly human? The flesh and blood survivors who sometimes act with cruelty, or the machines who show flashes of empathy and morality? And the conflict between the cyborgs and the synths are some of the most compelling scenes of the season. Physical fights, but also moral ones. You're left questioning who deserves to survive. It's classic alien storytelling, pushing sci-fi into philosophy. Next, I want to talk the key episode of our 8 episodes, the movie within the show. Episode 5, which is the alien movie, right? It's the title is In Space No One. The episode is basically the alien movie we really should have got. Okay? It's your standard claustrophobic station setting, dark corners, flickering lights, a crew hunted one by one, and the xenomorph unleashed in its purest form, but also how the other aliens that were on the ship begin to act within each other. Okay, I don't know if you remember the little parasite alien that somehow is to sneak out, and the eyeball, who is the smartest one, who clearly had a relationship with the woman, is knocking on the door, trying to warn her, but clearly she's like, "I'm not listening to you," and the little tadpole thing, ejaculates into the water, creates more. The guy then drinks. First of all, this is probably the most. I don't understand how this is supposed to be a very good scientific crew. They are highly incompetent, and it is just ridiculous at what happens because you see how the ship begins to break down one by one, and I'm just like, "Wow." But listen, people, watch if you don't wanna watch the show, why you can just watch it's similar to Paradise Episode 7, just watch the Alien movie, okay? Because I think it's great, and you can just kinda jump into that one without really having to know anything that is happening, okay? But you see how all the aliens which is interesting because we never know where they come from because in terms of the Alien franchise, right, we always assume, face huggers, implant, and the xenomorphs are born. But the rest of the aliens who seem to be, by the way, at war, when the eyeball alien takes over the one guy and fights the xenomorph, we're learning that maybe similar to because I guess the predators are still they are canon to the Alien franchise, as in it is a part of the Predator's canon that they hunt a xenomorph to become a man. This is their baptism, or what is it? What's the Jewish one called? Their what the hell is it? Bar mitzvah, right? That's their bar mitzvah, and we know that. But I don't know if Aliens versus Predator itself is canon to all of these things, and I guess it's up to James Cameron to decide what is canon and what is not canon when he's not making these fucking blue people movies. Now to talk about the final 2 episodes of Alien Earth. First, episode 7, which is Emergence. Wendy, Hermit, and Nibs realize Neverland is no longer safe, and the surveillance shows the troops are closing in and that the containment systems are failing, and they know the island is locked down and their window to escape is closing. Arthur, who's been carrying the aftermath of the facehugger attack, is in a weird in-between state. He's comatose, but there are signs that the embryo inside of him was growing. Wendy finally pushed her edge, makes a bold move. She hacks the lab containment and releases the grown xenomorph. The alien breaks containment, and Wendy's bond with it becomes undeniable, right? It's not just like monsters are running amok. The alien is responding to her. It basically has become her Pokemon. She is Ash Ketchum, and the xenomorph is her Pikachu. And in the chaos, Slightly and Smee are carrying Arthur's body, trying to deliver him to Morrow, but Kirsch, in a twist, helps them take a faster route to the beach. And then the chestbuster comes full heart. Arthur wakes up from his chest, bursts a newborn xenomorph, and escapes into the wilderness. Then Wendy, Joe, and Nibs reach the boat dock, only to be intercepted by security forces from Neverland. Tensions explode. Nibs, under strength, kills a soldier in a brutal fashion after her beloved toy is thrown away. She's shot. Wendy sends the adult xenomorph, the one she's controlling, to slaughter the troops. The episode ends on a mixture of desperation and revelation. Wendy's command of the alien isn't speculative, it's real, and the hybrid kids, once controlled and contained, now have a weapon and a voice. In our final episode, the real monsters, the hybrids are imprisoned in a cell together. Joe and Morrow are locked in another compartment. Wendy uses her powers to block facility cameras and shut down communication, and she's playing a chess game now, and not just a survival game. Boy Cavalier finally reveals parts of his backstory that, like, when he was 6, he built his first synth and used it to kill his abusive father. And the father's consciousness was downloaded into that synth, who became the first hybrid. That synth is Adam Inns. In effect, Cavalier's father lives on inside Adam Inns. Now, in the lab, Morrow attacks Kirsch, damaging him badly, but Kirsch fights back, ultimately choking Morrow's unconscious and being part of the hybrid capture of the remaining antagonists. Smee and Slightly show up and capture Kirsch, Morrow, and Sylvia. Nibs captures Sylvia, and the power structure inside Prodigy is collapsing. Wendy confronts Adam Inns because Adam Inns is a synthetic mechanical. Wendy can't control his motor function, and she uses that advantage to disable him. The eyeball parasite escapes containment, is almost about to possess. What the fuck is his nick? I always get and Hermit, but Marcy saves him and kicks the eyeball, and the eyeball escapes. Now the eyeball, running amok, ends up on the beach somehow and possesses Arthur's dead corpse by entering through the eye socket. Arthur is reanimated under the Oculus control. So hopefully, in season 2, we'll finally get to hear the eyeball speak. By the way, Wendy and Joe, aided by the older xenomorph, capture Boy Cavalier, lock him up along with Kirsch, Adam, Sylvia, and Morrow. Wendy is circled by xenomorphs, and she also controls the new baby xenomorph. Her rules established, and then she's like, "Now we rule." And the cool closing, the closing image, the Yutani forces are arrived with their ships overhead to reclaim their biological specimens. But inside, Wendy stands in control, flanked by Xenos, having executed the coup no one saw coming. Listen, I know a lot of people are mad about the whole Pokemon element of Alien Earth. I enjoy it because we always have their mindless control creatures that are just acting on instinct and they only listen to the queen. But now that we know they actually can speak, and also the lore of why the Xenomorph and the Eyeball alien are truly at war with each other, as well as the other things, the other aliens that have escaped. The fly trap monster and the plant fly trap thing have also escaped. Truly amazing. I think this was great. A lot of people are mad because it seems the way the humans act in the show are kind of dumb. Like, okay, Wendy can control all the AI and things because she's basically turning into Skynet or Ultron or whatever, so she can control the internet. But then we have the other corporations coming in, right? So because of that, and then also the incompetence with the soldiers, that sometimes they were able to capture the baby alien xenomorph pretty easily, and then but they constantly get outflanked by the xenomorph. It's a whole weird thing, and I understand it seems weird on what they were doing, that they basically merged 2 scripts together and they didn't know what they wanted to do. But I'm fully excited for the Utani versus Wendy thing. Obviously, do they lose or do they stay on this island forever? Because we never obviously know any of these key things in our future Alien franchises, but I am glad that she has her 2 Pokemon she gets to control, and maybe she'll learn to speak to the other aliens, and maybe we get to learn really about the eyeball alien and the planet it comes from and why the eyeball is probably the most dangerous alien of them all, since the eyeball knew from the start how big a threat the Xenomorph is, and kinda had a consciousness, right? It was a sheep, it was, talking to Boy Cavalier. When it was just an eyeball in the Alien movie, Alien episode, it did not like the other aliens and knew, like, chaos was amok, and clearly, it could have escaped the entire time, but it chose to stay there because it just didn't wanna cause any trouble, but also, how fucked up is it? It was almost gonna eat Hermit. I did not want that. I personally was hoping that the eyeball would take over Boy Cavalier, but it taking over a dead guy, and maybe that's the reason it can't speak. Then again, the vocal cords weren't ruined in from the body it took over. It was only the stomach that blew up, so the eyeball monster should be able to speak next season. By the way, it sucks that we're probably not gonna get a next season of the show till the middle of 2020, not even fuck, if 2025 is over. Yeah, we're definitely not getting another season of the show till 2027. God damn it. Unless no, because they didn't start production on it. God damn it. Anyway, I like Alien Earth. I think it's a top 10 show of the year. That is all.